G'day, I'm Scott Carson from Melbourne, Australia, co-founder of the Business of Smiles and host of the Campfire Project. With me tonight is James Short to help me to share love. We're living in a world that is full of fear. It's a world that I don't want to live in. It's a world we can change. Right now, I'm asking you to go into your heart. I'm asking you to listen to that inner voice that's telling you something's wrong. This is not how it's meant to be. Throughout history, fear has been the tool of choice to conquer, to divide, to take power over. And it's left us in a society that only understands physical pain. Right now, we are in so much emotional pain. We have in Victoria and Melbourne, we have the police standing guard of what? We have tradesmen fighting for what? Fear, and fear creates more fear. When you go and play a game of football or a game of physical sports, you prepare yourself to go onto that field. You prepare yourself because you don't know what's coming. When you go to a protest, the police have to prepare themselves for what they don't know is coming. They know it's fear, and they are wearing the fear of the people going in. That can only be met with more fear. I do not blame the people standing up because they've got anger, frustration, and fear in their hearts. They don't know how to use it. They don't know what to do with it. But they know, they feel it. Something's being taken away. This is not right. This is not right. Unfortunately, they don't have the skill set to be able to sit there and process our emotions. We are only learning that now as men, how to share how we feel, share how we grow, share how we take this to the next level. All previous generations have done it with physical attributes, physical opportunities. They have taken their fear and they've turned it into anchor, then they've taken it out on other people. I have taken mine out on other people. That energy has continued. It's time to change this. It's time to come from love. This is not working. I'm going to ask you to go back into your heart right now. You can feel it's not working. So, how do we come from love? How do we respond to this? How do we respond to people who are making decisions for their own benefit? Because at the end of the day, everybody makes a decision that they think is right. Nobody ever makes a decision to make a wrong decision. So, what does that leave us? What does that leave us? What does that? It leaves us in the situation we're in. Is it wrong? Can't be wrong because we're in it. What's our opportunity right now? We are a world divided. We are a world that doesn't stand together. We are a world that's lost our connection. It's time to reconnect. It's time to bridge the gap. And that time is now. I'm taking my time with what I say today because I want you to feel every little bit of this. Because I don't like the society we live in. I don't like the society that we live in fear, that we choose not to engage with one another, where we keep our emotions inside of us, that energy inside of us. And then when it comes out, it explodes like we're seeing right now because we haven't got a safe place to process that. This is an opportunity for us to come together and to learn how to love. We've lived in an existence where love is probably the most scariest thing we could do. Love, what does that look like? Honesty, what does it feel like? It's time to come together. Shorty.
Thanks, Scott. James Short, co-founder of the Business of Smiles with this amazing human, Scott Carson. It is time to reconnect. It is time to bridge the gap. And that time is now. If you think about past generations and past amazing leaders that have come before us, the likes of Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, their love, their voices, they're actually in actions to build more action, to create change, to stand up for what they believe in, their truth, our truth of what we know, what's right within us. That feeling, that intuition, that gut feeling that we have, where it's like, just that doesn't feel right. The ability to check in with that, the ability of how does that actually feel? Is it coming from a space of fear or is it coming from a space of love? And how does actually that fear play out? Fear plays out in anger. Fear plays out in resentment, in hatred, in violence. Fear plays out in actually not having a voice. But what does love look like? And how does love play out? Love plays out in thanking. Love plays out in gratitude. Love plays out in being there. Love plays out in connecting with one another, seeing if each other is okay, standing together, being together, knowing that knowingness deep inside that we will get through this together because it is time to reconnect. Scott.
Thank you, Shorty. We need this now. This is so important to each other. It is so important to our children. The problem is not the problem. It's how we respond to this that's either going to create the pain, the lesson, or the opportunity. We've had enough of the pain. Let's start looking for the lessons. Let's start looking for the things that are hurting us most. Let's find those things and then let's work to strengthen those things. Let's work together to strengthen those things. Let's walk together as men, as women, as children. We are all a part of this community. No one person is more important than any other person. Every person in our community is affected by one another. Whether you're the local doctor, whether you're the local policeman, whether you're the local drug dealer, whether you're the local butcher, whether you're the local teacher, the children, the drug user, we are all a part of this community. The homeless, the service station attendant, the checkout people at the grocery store, the local gardener, the man mowing the lawns, the pensioner living next door. We are all a part of this community. Every single part of this community affects one another. And I'm going to explain to you how. If somebody is affected by something that happens where you have a bad incident, you've had a run-in, where you've left home, you've had an argument with your wife because things aren't great at home at the moment and you haven't processed that safely, you're not concentrating, and then you get to work and you have an accident at work where it affects somebody else. That then goes back to their home at night when they get home because they've had a crap day. And if they haven't checked that in, that continues. Let's talk about our local drug users. Let's talk about those guys because they are a part of our community. They are in pain and that's why they use the drug. And until we support and love them, they are not going to have the opportunity to re-engage and have everything going on in our community. A drug user is no different to an alcoholic, is no different to a workaholic, is no different to somebody who pushes himself beyond everything to achieve everything they can. It's all an avoidance of the things that are important in life that we all need to work on. Right now, we are all feeling what's important. The disconnection is taking our souls. Here's the thing. We have the opportunity. Pain, lesson, or opportunity. We have the opportunity to take this and create the world that we want to live in, that we want to support one another. But it has to come from love. I'm going to ask you again to go into your heart right now. You know it's not right. It's time to understand our emotions. Inside the Campfire Project, we talk about all subjects so that we grow. We talk about all subjects so that we can work through our pain. Our pain can be our greatest teacher if we're prepared to take it on. At the moment, suicide is through the roof. Why is that? And why are we not allowed to talk about suicide? That is the problem. Suicidal thoughts are not new. Men, women have taken their life throughout the ages consistently because they haven't had the safe place to work through things, because fear's met fear and we've just gone bang. That's the end result. And again, it affects everybody in our community. This is not an individual issue. It is a community issue. And until we work through it as a community, we can't create the opportunities we need to have in order for us to have an existence that is worth living for. A life is only a life if it's lived. It's time to reconnect. It's time to bridge the gap. And that time is now. Shorty.
Some final words that I'd like for you to just sit and think and feel before we leave you today is go within. Find that feeling within. Find that dial within and reassess, where are you right now? Are you coming from a space of fear, or are you coming from a space of love? Knowing in the past what love may feel like, coming from the past of love experiences, coming from the past of what could it be like? What should it be like? Utilize that feelings now and bring him into the now. Bring him into the future. Because fear doesn't do any good. Fear creates more fear, creates more anger, creates more angst. Come back to that resource. Come back to that love. Come back to that inner guidance, that inner knowing that you are supported. You are reconnected. The bridge has closed the gap. It's time. It's time to go within. It's time to bring back the community, and that time's now.
Shorty, I love you, bro.
Love you too, Scott.
It's okay to love. It's beautiful. Don't fear it. It's just acceptance of one another and supporting one another. Thank you so much for doing your best right now. Thank you so much for showing me that it's hurting. Thank you so much for being here. Let's take back the responsibility. Let's learn to love. Thank you.